Go ahead and highlight or circle in orange this point here. Let's say that is the point 2, 4. All right. Now, in this case, guys, this is the vertex. It's actually the most important point. Whenever we're graphing quadratic equations, all you need is 2 points. You need your vertex, most important one, and then you need one other point. Now, what's so special in this case about quadratics is that if I were to cut the parabola in half, any point I have on my right-hand side should be reflecting on the left-hand side. Now, what that means in this case is that our y value in a parabola actually repeats with, in this case, points. Let me go ahead and show you here. So, for example, what I'm saying, let's say I have a point here, and this point here is 3, 3. All right, because this is actually moving down a number from 2. And in this case, I should actually have a number on the left-hand side that will be having the same y value as 3, 3. Now, in this case, I want to go ahead and see how many spaces is 2 away from 3. And in this case, guys, that's actually 1. Now, question for you guys is what number comes before 2 that is also 1 space away from 2? So a number that comes before 2 that is 1 space away from 2 is going to be 1. So then this point here is actually going to be 1, 3. That point there is going to be 1, 3. Now let's say I have this point here. Let's say I have this point, and let's say that point in this case is 0, 2. All right. It's not to scale, so just bear with me here. So that means in this case, guys, that the point 0, 2 is 2 spaces away from the vertex. Now, question for you here is what point is going to be on the right-hand side? And in this case, like I said, guys, 0 is 2 spaces away from 2, and 0 comes before 2. So then one number in this case comes after 2 that is 2 spaces away from 2. And in this case, that would be 4. 4, 2. All right. Now, if we keep on moving in this case, guys, let's say we go down here. Once again, that, let's say, is going to be -1, 1. All right? So that means that the point in this case is also going to be repeating on this side. Once again, -1 is 3 spaces away from the vertex or the axis of symmetry. So it's 1, 2, 3. So then a number in this case that is 3 spaces away from 2 is going to be 1, 2, 3. That's actually going to be 5. And in this case, that's going to be 1, 5, 1. Notice in this case, guys, that the y values in this case on each side repeat. The only thing that's changing in this case is x. And that's really based on the distance from the vertex each of these points are. So both of these are a distance 1 space away from the vertex. Both of these are 2 spaces away from the vertex, and both of these are 3 spaces away from the vertex. So let's go ahead and get started here with our example 1. And in this case, guys, in example 1, it says graph the equation y equals -2 times x minus 2 squared plus a 5. Once again, this here is in vertex form, guys. Vertex form does have an expression being squared. It has a number multiplied in front. And you also have a constant on the outside, which is a number by itself. So first thing I want to go ahead and identify here, guys, before graphing or anything, I want to go ahead and identify the vertex. Now, in this case, guys, we mentioned earlier that the vertex is the point H and K. H is found inside of the parentheses being squared, and K is on the outside. One thing special about H in this case, guys, is it's actually going to represent the opposite. So if this here is a -2 in the vertex, it's going to be a +2. And this here is going to be a 5. That stays the same. All right, so that is the vertex. Now, let's go ahead and find another point. We already found the vertex, which is the most important point. Now, I want to go ahead and find another point in this case. So I'm going to go ahead and write my vertex in the middle of the table. And I'm actually looking for 2 numbers in this case, guys. One that comes before and one that comes after 2. But both of those numbers have to be the same distance away from 2. So in this case, guys, let's say I have 1. 1 comes before 2. And in this case, there's only 1 space in between 1 and 2. So a number that comes after 2 that's 1 space away is 3. So that being said, in this case, guys, whatever I get, if I substitute a 1 or a 3, it's going to be the same thing for both. So let's say I use x equals 1, and I'm going to go ahead and substitute that into our original equation to find y. Goal in this case is to find y. So we have y equals negative 2 times x minus 2 squared plus 5. And in this case, guys, wherever I see an x, I'm actually going to go ahead and substitute it with the 1. So let me just erase that and put a 1 there. And let's go ahead and work this out. So we have y equals negative 2. In this case, guys, we are doing order of operations. So first thing with order of operations is we're going to go ahead and work with parentheses. So 1 minus 2 is actually going to give us a negative 1 squared plus 5. All right. Now, from here, we have y equals negative 2. Now, in this case, guys, this is actually the step where I have a lot of students getting mistaken here. They really don't know what to do here. I have a lot of students multiplying first the negative 2 and then squaring. But in this case, order of operations just call for us to square first. So I'm going to go ahead and do negative 1 squared. Negative 1 squared in this case, guys, is going to give us a 1 and plus 5. So negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 plus 5. And negative 2 plus 5 here is 3. So in this case, wherever I have the 1x equals 1, y here is going to be equal to 3. Now, let's go ahead and see for the 3. I'm not going to show the work here, but I'm actually going to go ahead and type it in. And in this case, guys, instead of writing a 1, I'm going to actually write in a 3. So I have a negative 2 times, I'm doing this in the calculator over here, times 3 minus 2 squared plus 5. When I put the 5 in this case, guys, I should be getting the same answer here. And in this case, we do. So like I said, guys, because 1 and 3 are the same distance away from our vertex, which here is 2, 5, they should be having the same y value. So let's go ahead and graph this, guys. This here is, I just need 2 points. So let's go ahead and graph it. Let me just move this here, and let's go ahead and graph it. So I'm going to go ahead and create a graph here. Let's go ahead and create it there. And this is x, and this is y. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up here. Actually, do that, extend that a bit. And then 1 and 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Negative 1, negative 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So starting off in this case, guys, I do want to go ahead and start off by plotting our vertex. So vertex is at the point 2, 5. So that means that I'm going to go ahead and go 2 to the right, 5 up, and we find ourselves here. Now, other point in this case, guys, is 1 and 3. And the other point is 3, 3. All right, so let me just connect these points here. And in this case, this is what our graph looks like. All right. So in this case, guys, this is actually our parabola here. Let me just write vertex. This is the vertex at the point 2, 5. And these are just our other points. Okay, so that is our graph. And notice in this case, guys, a was equal to a negative number. So because it's negative, it's a downward graph. All right? So that is our work here.